What is up, weather enthusiasts? I'm your host, Pat's Path Predictor. Let's get right into the weather. All right, so this is the situation we have right here, ladies and gentlemen. Arlene is a tropical storm, ladies and gentlemen. This tropical depression that was in the Gulf of Mexico is now a tropical storm. It is our first named system of the season, Tropical Storm Arlene. This is the latest advisory right here. Air Force Hurricane Hunters indicate depression has strengthened into Tropical Storm Arlene. At 1 p.m., the center of Tropical Storm Arlene was located at latitude 26.7 north, longitude 82.6 west, moving south at 5 miles per hour. And the maximum sustained winds are now 40 miles per hour. Tropical storm force winds extend 70 miles from the center, according to the Hurricane Hunters, and the minimum central pressure is down to 1,002 millibars. So that's what we got right here. The main threat is rainfall in Florida, but that's about it. As you can see the track right here, it becomes a brief tropical storm. It is expected to weaken into a depression by tonight, and then a remnant low by Saturday. So that's the situation we got going on right here. If we take a look at the global sea temperatures, piping hot for at least this time of the year right here. They're about 3 degrees Celsius above average, according to what I have seen right here. And if you take a look at the ocean heat content, it is improving by the day. However, the wind shear is what's really going to be tearing the system apart. The wind shear right now is like 25, 30, 40 knots in some areas of the Gulf right there, and that is expected to only increase or remain the same. In fact, the entire track of that Arlene right there is going to be through this very big wind shear, and that's ultimately what's going to tear this apart. There's also some dry air that may intrude into that system and ultimately lead to its downfall right there. And if you take a look at the tracks right there, the tracks have it in the next 2 days kind of meandering into sea before either hitting or making a near miss to Cuba, and then by 3 days it's going to be making a near miss by Florida according to the consensus right here, and then hitting the Bahamas. But the main threat's probably just going to be some rain, some gusty winds if it holds together that long. But other than that, that's pretty much what's the big threat for this Arlene system right here. But yeah, it's June 2nd. We now have a tropical storm in the Gulf of Mexico. We weren't even anticipating this just 2 days ago. We were looking at this, and this had like a 20% chance of development. But then yesterday, it really got its act together and organized into this tropical storm right here. So that's pretty much what we got on this front. However, I am paying more attention to the long-term tracks right here. There's a tropical wave in the Atlantic Ocean right here that is by Ghana, Submarine, and French Guiana right here that is approaching Trinidad and Tobago especially. This tropical wave right here, the reason I am paying attention to it is because it is going to move into some very favorable conditions in the Eastern Caribbean Sea in the next few days. And I'll show you right here. What we got right here, this is the European run of the wind shear. As you can see, where it's at right now, it's decent. The wind shear is pretty decent right there. It's like, it's like 5, 10, 15 knots or so. It's definitely in favorable conditions right now. But once it gets into the Caribbean Sea where these warmer waters are and a better ocean heat content is, it definitely could develop into something if it can get its act together right here. So let's go ahead and move the clock out about 48 hours right here. And this is what we got right here. A much better environment in this part of the sea right here than it was like just today right here. Take a look at it now. Take a look at it 2 days from now. The wind shear goes from like 35, 40 knots down to like 20 to 25 and even lower in a lot of these areas right here. So that's the first thing we need to pay attention to right there. And that low wind shear is going to persist going into this. It's going to persist for a couple of days or so before starting to strengthen back up by June 5th. And even then, you could still make a case that it could develop, but by that point, it would be out of that part of the Caribbean Sea right there if it moves quick enough. However, by the end of the week or so, by like June 8th, the wind shear starts to really ramp up all across the Caribbean, although this part of the Caribbean has low wind shear right there. So that's what we are looking at right there. Another thing we need to look at too is the moisture component to this, like the dry air. See what is going on with that. And 48 hours out, though, it's not too moist right here, but it's also not too dry in the Eastern Caribbean. So could some dry air choke it out of it? Potentially, yes, but could it also But could it also feed off of this, and could it develop in these conditions? Yeah, because the humidity and all across the Eastern Caribbean is really not too low 48 hours out. And right now, it's even not that low at all. It's only going down to like 35% humidity right here, which isn't that impressive, keep in mind, but it's definitely there. And that moisture it still becomes a bit of a problem throughout the Eastern Caribbean. However, in this part of the Caribbean over here, it's going to be decently moist for some tropical development to continue if this system lasts that long. So if you're in Trinidad and Tobago, if you're in Venezuela, if you're in the Lesser Antilles over here, I would pay very close attention to this tropical wave right here, because right now it's moving into favorable conditions for potential development in the next few days. So that's something we need to absolutely keep an eye on right here, and we will continue to update you here on the Pat's Path Predictor channel. And if you want to help us out with data and getting more information out, feel free to join my Discord server, Storms United. The link is in the description down below, or it is in the end screen right here. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. It helps us out and helps us make more videos like these. The goal of this channel is to get more people engaged with weather. But with that being said, have a wonderful day, guys. Stay safe.